Ah,
Yay.
here we are. We're live.
I'm going to have,
Oh, what are you going to have, Rose?
oh, I'm just saying that looks good, and I'm going to have my coffee soon.
Indeed, coffee.
Yay.
Yes, I've been off coffee for three weeks. It's 3 weeks without coffee, which is
Oh
good
my
going
goodness.
by my standards. But so here is the AutoGrader BetaSaaSer meeting. We have Rose, we have Sigu, we have Sam. We will see if Richard will join us. I had meant to send a reminder on Friday. I've moved it around, so hopefully I will do that on Fridays going forward. But yeah, so let's do what I usually do, which is like open a little texty, chatty, no, what's it's called, a notepad, so we can write down the issues of the day. Let me put that on screen share. There, here it comes. So yeah, Rose, did you have anything particular on your mind this week?
Well, I'm going to try to do a walkthrough of the unit and acceptance
Oh, okay.
test cycle homework, especially since the students are going to be taking their exam, and then Wednesday they will be doing their intro to my project presentation. So I'll be seeing what they have, and then next Monday they're supposed to have this assignment complete, and we'll try to carve out some time to see how they did. So it's time for me to go ahead and check it out again. Also, I was curious about the BDD problem. When you change the file directly and it's the one in the schema that does work, where it doesn't work is where it's a previous migration that somebody just deleted the file instead of rolling back and deleting it. And so your fix works. However, we still have some other problems. And do we still have to do that DB test prepare?
I'm never sure. I'm never sure.
Okay, because I know last year I had students get all kinds of really weird results. Because they went and I looked at my notes, and they were getting all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And I had them stop, and I looked at it, and I said, well, did you do a DB test prepare? A rake DB test prepare. And they looked at me like I had two horns or something.
Right.
And I said, do you remember we said that we thought you would have to do that beforehand? No, they didn't remember, so they tried it, and all the weirdness went away. And I just wonder what that's all about.
Well, I think I may be able to shed some light, which we'll see. I'll just pop on. So my thing is, I've got the AV102 course continues to run. I have failed to re-record any new videos because there's just too much of the stuff going on, and I feel bad about that because I'd love to. But well, so one day we'll work out some way that like when I re-record them, money will just sort of share on me or something, and that would help me prioritize it. But anyway, the MOOC is coming up end of October. I need to set the dates for part 2. I guess we also need to prepare the MOOC. Yay! I have failed to do any more on like I've not done any more walkthroughs. I am kind of doing. I'm getting sort of a running list of issues from the UC Berkeley TAs in the AutoGraders channel. So we've got UCB TAs in AutoGraders, and I guess we're just going through the process of like trying to work out the communication mode. Like they often seem to be saying like the grade is down. And I'm like, oh right, I must go restart the graders. Hey, wait a minute, actually they're not down. You had a student misunderstand what the grader said. Okay, that's different from grade is down. So we're working out that shared vocabulary to go on. And I'm sort of gradually taking them through that process of not just saying there's a thing wrong and it's wrong with that other thing and that homework with the stuff, and I'm saying, can we be slightly more precise? anyway. So yes, so I have actually now from Ben has given me something more very precise. They are encountering an issue with the acceptance unit test cycle for all of their students, where they're getting this issue, where there is a bundler mismatch, and I think that's breaking things. And I think, so I think that's probably kind of high priority. I need to check that so we've got here, this is like UCB TA reports, because I guess part of the problem with this is that, I checked it fairly recently, but the problem is that, like, if I'm checking it with reference solutions, right, the reference solution might have been done with the old bundler, and then for somebody who creates something from scratch, who knows? So, which I must check. And this is partly why, it's not entirely true, I fail to do things like re-record videos or do more walkthroughs, is because these things come up as the priorities. So, but that's all the stuff that I think what we certainly could do is spend a little bit of time on this BDD problem and talk about why you got some of the issues previously, since I think we kind of spent most of last week on the Rails intro assignment, and then we kind of only very briefly were on this at the end. So we could go and look for there's so I think, oh no, it's not an issue on the AutoGrader, it's going to be an issue on the BDD Cucumber. Here we go. Here. So yes. So there was definitely issues. Now, I think the reason that this pull request addressed some of these issues was because it deleted this file. So for some reason that we don't know, these files, which really should not be checked in, got checked in.
Oh, so I see.
This SQLite database is like, it had, like, so I think when you were I think at one point you reported, we actually saw here, this, right? You saw the presence of two schemas. Two.
Well, there's. So what happened was the schema was pointing to the 4.9, whereas the only migration that was present was the 3.8.
Right.
And there was no 4.9 file.
No, right, and that's because someone had checked in, like some earlier version of the code, right, where that schema and migration and everything made sense, had been checked in with the test SQLite, and then subsequently other things had changed, and the kind of this transient database that got checked in with which is the boilerplate code for the thing, was just there. So removing that's why I thought that this would be at least a partial fix to this problem, because that was causing that. So then it seems that there was also a mismatch between so that was the commit that I put in the other day. Although I haven't been aware of a mismatch between the schema and the migration ID ever actually causing a problem. But maybe that's because I've always been working with, consistent systems. It's a very odd.
It did for assignment 4 a year or two ago. There was an orphan migration, and you could, when you did a rake DB DB test status, you could see that the schema was pointing to a migration, and the migration was there, but a previous migration was missing. Right. It seemed to kind of wreak havoc.
Well, I think the thing that wreaked havoc was not that inconsistency per se. The thing that really wreaked havoc was that this test database included already like a set of 20 movies.
Sure.
And then when the Cucumber tests were running and they were trying to check for do we have the correct number of movies in the database, it just wouldn't work.
Right.
So I think that was the havoc that was being wreaked. The inconsistency in the migration and so like the extra migration, that could also cause problems in that you wouldn't be able to roll back the database. I mean, there's all sorts of problems that you could get into, but I'm still trying to drill that. I mean, not that it matters. I don't think that the actual number here matching the number in the migrations necessarily makes any difference. But anyway, consistency is good. We've updated it to that. I mean, that might be something to investigate separately, whether this, because for me, the schema is an auto-generated file. Maybe it's the case that when you run the migrations, right, like it tries to look and find the latest migration and say, oh, we don't need to run the migrations, we can just run the schema. But I'm not, anyway.
Yeah.
But so what I would propose here is I think now we no longer have any consistencies in the boilerplate code.
Consistency or consistency problem?
No, any inconsistencies. There's no consistency problems. I think now.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you right.
Right. We have a single migration with this ID, and we have a single schema with the corresponding ID, and in the schema we have the results of that migration, and we have no temporary databases hanging around, and so in principle. I mean, there's still this seeds thing, which could get you into trouble. But anyway, in principle, we now have a boilerplate code for HWBDD Cucumber that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
But do we have any evidence that this latest version still leads to some sort of problem that students encounter?
Now, the feature file, does it still have that then I should see 10 seeds or something like that? Does it still have that in it?
I don't. Like this one?
Yeah, that new line. When students have that, everything fails still.
Right.
They take it out, everything passes.
Right. Well, yes. That's. I mean, this was added as a check to make sure that their database is working correctly. So, I mean, basically, like when we run this test, given there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
right.
10. I mean, this was like Mr. Johns introduced this to make sure that I mean, the danger that the student had. The students, when they submit this assignment, they are only submitting the features directory, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they might be working in the thing, right? But so you're talking about them running it locally, like it.
No, I'm saying when they submit it, it says that it fails.
Okay. Right. So I think it would have failed if they were. No. Okay.
But I kind of take issue with the way that's being done in that background step anyway.
Really?
I mean well, yeah, because I mean basically what this infers is that we should have a separate Cucumber test for just checking that we can set up our database. Because when you do a background step, the idea is that all that stuff has already been tested and checked out, and you should be able to get to that step without like checking on it. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think this was introduced because we specifically had that problem that, we had the test database had been, checked in, right? So this was specifically, I mean, I think it's also, but, I mean, I think you can argue for a separate thing. I mean, but the whole thing is contrived, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, I would rather see a separate little thing that they could run quickly and just make sure everything was the way it should be, and then work on their homework rather than see something like this and think that that's a proper way to write a background step.
Yeah, no, it's true that we should. Well, but I don't know. I would say. I don't think I wouldn't have a problem with someone, putting that in. It seems to me on this scale, like if we had, like a series of 8 things and it was sort of a major issue thing there, I don't know. I can't. Let me just take a layer off. I can't personally take you through. I mean, I think far independently of that, I would say, I think far more serious issue is if it is the case that the presence of this causes the AutoGrader to blow up for students, and that's what we would need to get to the bottom of. I mean, because now, if the students are really only checking in
the feature, and the step definitions,
so
that folder,
right? So, and I guess what we have to do now is, though, we have to distinguish between problems that students who cloned or forked an earlier version, because we've made changes here, right? Like most recently, the schema thing. So what we need to know specifically is, for the current setup, if students start working from this rotten potatoes things, what, if any, issue will they encounter on the AutoGrader?
Right. Yeah, you know, I might be able to free some time up tomorrow and just go through it myself and see. Because
that might be a good
you know
thing.
how it is when you've got all these students and there's, you know, you have limited amount of time and you're trying to figure out, number one, what's happening, number two, what they did previously.
I mean, the other way to go for all of the students is basically to insist that they did everything in C9 and give you access to their C9 thing as part of the whole process. Of course, even that's, you know, I mean, actually,
even that can only tell so much.
Well, at least, I think it's true. Although it's a wonderful history. What we've actually talking about doing in Agile Ventures is actually kind of spinning up lots of C9 instances and saying to people who are getting started, look, use this one. Don't spend any time trying to set it up on your own computer. Just use this. Here's one. We share it with you, so we know we have access. We can see what you're doing. Anyway, that might be a. I mean, what would be lovely, of course, if there was some mechanism for student or class support through C9, where we basically say, right, I've got a class. Here are my 50 students with their emails, and spin up 50 C9 instances. The instructor would have access to them all, and it would email the thing to the students, and all the students would have access through that. That would be a really nice feature for C9.
That would take away so many headaches.
Yeah.
It would just streamline the process. Is what we're going through now is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So if we come back to, I mean, then there's this question of, I mean, whether rake DBTS prepare is required is going to be a function of what they've done with the data, because the big thing, of course, is that with the students just submitting their feature files, what they will be seeing locally is a function of how that's all set up for them locally versus, everything that's happening on the AutoGrader, however it's set up. So
now I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that one of the things that did was basically clean up anything that might have been left behind.
Yeah, it should do. I mean, and all of the tests themselves in print, like you go, they should be, running kind of in a transaction, and the database should be being rolled back afterwards, or it should be being, I think sometimes if you do Control C in the middle of a Cucumber run, it can leave the database in a weird state. So this is a kind of a hand thing to be doing. I mean, I think that's one of the most complicated things for people, not as students, but anybody working with this thing, is to have that mental model of the three databases and the state that they are in. Yeah, it takes a lot to get there. So yeah, I mean, I guess we've got a little bit of time now. We could, it seems to me, we could even just have a go at. We've got a walkthrough for this, which we could just follow. We could do it live in C9 now. Another thing we could do is we could go and look at this issue that the UC Berkeley TA said that they're reporting about the acceptance test unit test cycle. Which we could also create we could start on a walkthrough that together right now, and we'd get the stuff there, and then maybe that's something that you would finish. I guess in the absence of other business, it's sort of up to you, Rose. What do you think would be, of those two things or some other thing, what would be most fun and productive to do right now?
On the one hand, in the back of my mind, I would just love to settle this BDD assignment question once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, it might be more useful to get ahead of the other assignment.
Yeah, I mean
Flip a coin
because your students are coming up on that, and so if there is an issue, then that's going to be something that you're, perhaps the what are they called?
Yeah.
The UCB folks maybe like have encountered something that you're about to hit, and if we can fix that, then you don't hit it.
Yeah, it'd be nice not to to avoid getting run over.
Yeah, that always sounds good, doesn't it? What I'm going to do, either way, I think sensibly, I sign in with my clean account onto C9.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
of course, this was created, instance created when they were still on Ruby 2.3.1, and people have created it more recently. Yeah, I guess I should create a new one there. Well, anyway, let's go into the one that we have there.
We should definitely check the bundle of the version of Bundler that.
Yeah, I mean, what I can do in the background relatively quickly is we can. Let's go. Is that your background noise, Sigu? Oh no, it sounds like it's frozen. No worries. So that's the staging grader. Let's go and look at the production grader. So CD rag there. So while my C9 instance is warming itself up, so yeah, I mean that sort of implies. I mean, I guess what I would like to be able to do is, like, rather than submitting the reference, well, I guess I want to start with submitting the reference solution. I want to go from here, at least into, if I go to, no, what do I want to be? I want Edge, I want Edge Studio, Studio dot Edge, edX, and oh gosh. Yeah, I wish these things would just keep me signed in indefinitely. So that's signing in. Over here, I've got...
Sounds familiar.
This somewhat clean instance. So in here, I have done... Yeah, we've got the homework BDD Cucumber set up here. And if we look at... What have we got in the DB? I mean, there's a test SQLite in there. Let's get into BDD. What's it called? There's a HW BDD, and here. So we can have a look at your branches ahead. Have I actually committed things in here? Git log. What have we got there? Yeah, so I've actually committed the assignment complete there. I guess for total cleanliness, what we should probably do there, rather than mucking around with the bits and pieces, is I can go and get, like, here's the assignment, and we tell people to clone this, don't we? Yeah, we do. Armando added back in all the instructions to fork it, which I have. Anyway, so git clone, and there's a command for clone which allows us to change the directory. So git clone to different directory. Oh, we just put the folder name. We just put the name, don't we, Sigu?
Yeah, I just put the name there.
So HTTP Cucumber, and this is schema migration sync. Like that. And so then I can do HWBTD QMA. I'm trying to multitask this by like getting the two things done in parallel, which is maybe going to end in tears, or basically I'll end up crying, not you guys, but we will see. I'm just thinking, like, can we take the initial thing here and even without doing the assignment, just submit it as part of sort of seeing what issues the student might encounter on the current grader. I think I can, if I just do bundle.
Not a bad idea.
This is one I want to get the very latest
version of bundle there.
Well, see here,
what's your bundle?
It's not. It's like the latest. I just think they're like, yeah. It says I'm currently running 1.15.3, so I do gem install bundle.
So what was the AutoGrader? Do you remember the message? It gave a specific version.
It's similar to that. It's they're getting well, actually on the AutoGraders, the latest bundle is 1.15.3, and you are currently running 1.15.1. So like even since the Berkeley TAs submitted this issue, there's been another version of Bundler has come out. I have to say, this kind of like Bundler running a particular thing is just, I don't know. I'm not sure what benefit we're getting from it really, but anyway, let's run Bundle here. Okay, so we have all the stuff. We're in Raw Potatoes. I guess we can just do Bundle exec cucumber. And I think now what's going to happen there? We're going to see, okay, so we have to run the migrations on the test database. Do you go through them in the class with like about the different databases?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's no way to like get that information stuck into someone's head unless they're actually encountering the pain. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's part of the problem. You can go over it, but half the time they're not paying attention.
Yeah, and even if they are, I think it's like even with the best will in the world of trying to pull that into your mind, like them having that knowledge structured in such a way that you can then apply it to solve a problem when you're looking at like red stuff here. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even if they do pay attention, they may even write it down. They may not really understand what they're writing down.
Yeah.
Although I tell them it's better to have the notes, and then, when you're encountering the problem, you'll go, aha.
Right.
We heard something like that in class. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm just going to get rid of the other. Right. So this is the schema migration one. So I'm just going to do the, so like, in the first instance, right, this will just fail here like this because there isn't any step definition to create the test. If I jump back to features, step definitions, movie steps. So here, because it fails on input, if we then just do, oh, not there. Yes, I think if they're organized and they have they have the notes and they kind of were referring to the notes while trying to calmly analyze the problem, they might have a fighting chance. Yeah, it's I mean, it's interesting. There we go. So we've got it into a state here that it will pass in principle. So we've got here, and I could now create a file that we can submit to the AutoGrader.
Right.
And see what it says, because we've got some features that pass like, and this is like a student might do this. They might make like, oh, it's green. I'm done. You know what I mean? That's like certainly not within the realms of the fantastical. But so now
only too well.
Indeed. So now we've got features zip there. I can then take that. What else can I do with that? I can download it. Yes, I've got that there. And if I jump back over here, what was I trying? I was trying to log into Studio. We could, since we're with you, it's do we have SUNY there? So 2004. Let's go to your class and submit it through. It shouldn't make any difference which grader we submit it through.
Still not a good idea. Not a bad idea. I mean, we want to keep the experiment as close to
exactly
the reality as possible.
That's right. This is exactly what your students will be encountering. So there we are, BDD and Cucumber. And here we go. We now want to submit that. So I'm going to grab that file of my file system, which should be in my downloads. Yep, features1zip, like that. I'm going to submit that to the grader. And then we should get we'll just want to check that we get the right kind of failure message. While that's running, he said multitasking. Do I now have, oh gosh, what are they called? They're called Berkeley. That's right, full 2017 full. Let's go to the Berkeley class. Also, what I want to go to is I should have. So, did I even start a stub for the acceptance test unit cycle walkthrough? Which, if we had one, it would be in the CI thing. No, I did not, and I don't even have a README. So let's add a README. Why not? Pop that in there. Over here, this is right. This is UC Berkeley. That was where I was at the last point. That's homework BDD and Cucumber. So here, yeah. So this is the kind of thing that one of your students might encounter. This is, I mean, they actually get quite a good score just for doing that one thing there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so certainly here, we're not seeing any problem, I think, with this. We've got test failed. I mean, because this is the mutation grader.
Mutation grader, yeah, we talked about that in class.
Yes, so the following required failures were not detected. Mm-hmm. So this is the situation. Everything's passing locally. So I haven't actually even written any extra tests, but this would be the same as if they had written tests that were vacuously passing. So this is the kind of output that they would be encountering. I mean, I think what's the big difficulty with this is that this is so not readable, right? Like if this was in bold and in about 3 times the font size, and then if this thing was you had to click it open to see it, then there would be a much higher chance that people would understand this message instead of what they probably immediately do, which is focus on this. But anyway, so this is we could sort of even go through and complete the assignment, but this seems to imply that having worked with the boilerplate, we can submit and this step will pass.
Yeah, it certainly looks like the changes that were made make it possible for everything to pass right now. My guess is that, I mean, and I had suggested that the students re-download the latest version instead of trying to work with what they had, but I don't know how many of them did it.
No, and that's and even with the best intention of wanting to do that, it's not necessarily easy to make that happen. It depends.
Right.
With Git changes, pulling it down, and so on. I guess here, do I have? This is the thing. I mean the. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. Let's just go over to, and we could come back. I mean, we're still doing not too badly for time. We can maybe come back to bits and pieces. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to go over here. Let's have a. It's clear I did pull down this assignment, but maybe I just didn't actually start on it. We'll just drop over there and drop into now. This is we want homework, acceptance test, unit test cycle, git log. Yeah, that's just the latest stuff there. I don't think I've done that's from 2017. Yeah. Okay. So here, if we go now, what do we end up with in this directory? Again, we have a rotten potatoes. Right. And if we drop over to here, we've got the CI. This is the place where I might add a. I'm just going to call it walkthrough MD here because it spell out the whole thing. Walkthrough MD. So, if you want, here we're sort of, what am I doing? Brain. Sometimes I try to say 8 things at once, and then none of it comes out very well. Let's go to RAG. No, we don't want RAG. We want softbook, and we want. So if a student was trying to do this assignment, they would be going to this README, and reading it. And they would be saying, right, aha, this is what I'm doing. Oh, and then I've got
That's
some notes.
assuming a lot.
I mean, basically, I imagine most students will basically like just go, all right, I do this. It's, you know what I mean? They're gonna like, why would you read any of these instructions when there's like a bit of thing that you can just type in internal and see what happens? So we would start, let's clone our repo. And get into the directory. CD. There we go. So that I think this is as far as I actually got, like before at the end of the summer, before I got hit by the chest infection. And
Oh, no.
once you've cloned the repo, change their okay, bundle install. I don't know what this is over. And then okay, so bundle exec to apply the database migrations. So I've actually just run bundle there. I'm going to grab that. I mean, I'm not sure how useful like this level of detail is in here. I might maybe just like cut out this bit of it and say like, there we go. We install the gems, and then okay, what was it telling us? Oh, it's run the migrations. Bundle exec rake migrate. Was it saying like do it within Rails and test? Oh, and by the way, I could give you access to this workspace if you wanted. Rose, you could kind of jump in.
Oh, that'd be great. Isn't
Yeah.
it bundle exec rake DB migrate?
Yeah, it is. And I was just wondering whether it needed to have the test thing there. Let me also now. What would be the email address? Oh, and Sigu, if you want to, I'm very happy to share this space with you guys. If you have an existing email that is associated with C9, and you Slack it to me, I can give you.
It should be.
I've got Sigu's. Now, Sigu, did you ever look at the this agile development using Ruby on Rails course? Was it something that you kind of been aware of, or?
Yeah, I did the first part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did the first part of it.
Oh cool. Oh cool. So you kind of the context.
Yeah. I'm actually following along pretty well.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions.
Only that this time I know what's happening on the background.
Good stuff.
I put my email in the chat.
Did you do it in the Hangout chat? Yeah. Okay. Come on, Hangout chat. I'm just trying to open it. There you go. Yep. Oh, that one. Okay. Got that email address. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So I've invited you both to that workspace, and I'll just pop. This is my clean room, as if I was building a satellite. Haha. Oh, if only. And I've put that chat in the link to the workspace, and you'll get an email invite and so on. Anyway, so yeah, let's run the migrations. Come on, migrations. Here we go. Ooh. Did I accidentally like reload the entire space or something? Okay. Ooh. Oh no, it's rake DB. What am I doing? DB migrate. That would help. Like often, like last comment is deprecated. Please use last description instead. Interesting. That looks like the migrations haven't run, but have they? Or last comment is deprecated. Please use last description instead. Can do we have like a SQL Lite interface here that I can now? That's probably SQLite 3, isn't it? That I can then have a look for. Did we actually migrate something? Have we created the databases? Show me the. It's not tables. What is it? How do I get a list of? Maybe it is tables. Probably. I don't know what this is actually connecting.
Put headers on, I think.
I think probably what I have to do is I have to kind of go to db/. Where is it that that it ends up sticking the database? We've got raw potatoes here. db, yeah,
DB, yeah, it's right there.
db/test. That's interesting. That's the right directory. I'm in Rotten Potatoes, db/test. Tab completion is not working for me for some reason, which is, I think, a little surprising. But okay, well, that sort of worked. Tables. Okay, but it hasn't created any. It looks like the migrations have not worked there. Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, you could always do a rake db migrate status and see what it says.
Good. I think someone's opened the same window as me and has it very small. And C9 has this rather unfortunate tendency of making only it available to the size of the person's smallest window. So if you could all maximize your view of the bash window.
I actually closed it up.
I think you may have closed it for all of us, Sigu, and so we lost the workspace. But don't worry, we can easily create a new one. And so no problem at all. What was I going to do here? I was going to do CD and get back into what we were working on. HW acceptance, test unit cycle, Rotten Potatoes. So we're in here. I'm just going to do SLS minus LA DB. Yeah, there's nothing in the database. That's very strange that hasn't worked. Interesting. I mean, I'm almost thinking there is that I will be tempted to do.
Did you migrate some?
I tried to migrate, but it failed. At least as far. I mean, or I guess. Let's just see what's in it. It may be that we look at the development database. Yeah, yeah, that's okay. So I think I did do the migration, and this was the. Oh gosh, it's DB migrate, and we probably didn't need the bundle for that.
DB.
But this is.
Yeah.
Like in order to get the test database, we need the Rails and Google test. I wish Rails migrate. There you go.
Yeah.
Right, but that's interesting. See, it obviously. It's interesting. It's like on the development database. I think it created them. Like if we connect here to DB develop, and it's not. Oh gosh, that's so annoying that it doesn't. So here, yeah. So when I first ran the rake migrations there, it didn't give me any output except the deprecation warning. But when I migrated the test things, it actually gave me the output saying create tables. And I don't know, it's just we must. I think some of these things must be fixed in more recent versions of Rails. Like I can't imagine a situation where you want to run rake migrate and you want to migrate the development stuff, but you don't want to migrate the tests.
Yeah, that's absurd.
But we're on a very old version of Rails, so we can't complain too much. Okay, so I've just. So this was following the instructions, which I'm now not even sure if I. Okay, let's go back over here. So there we had just updated the gems, then migrate then run the migrations. I'm just seeing if I've got about another 10 minutes. If we can get to the point where try database and then run these, there's a whole chunk of stuff. So I'm hoping to get to like here and then build something that we can submit to the grader and maybe replicate what the Berkeley TAs were seeing. So we've run the rake DB migrate. I guess maybe that needs updating to tell us more about. I will grab this chunk of text as evidence of what we did there. Okay, there we go. That's this. But you're seeing the sausage making. This is exactly how I create all of the walkthroughs. It's just by going through, and you can see like all of the missteps. Some of the missteps get missed out. Sometimes if the missteps are really interesting, I leave them. I leave them in.
Yeah, some of the missteps are more interesting than the steps that work. I find.
Indeed, indeed. So come on, brain. So the next thing, which will be over here, is we're supposed to run this set of commands. I think I did. Oh gosh.
Can you show me that just one more time real fast?
I will do. I was just, so the other thing was that this is another Berkeley TA, just submitted a series of changes related to the instructions here. Like they've got like here that hasn't been merged in. I mean, I said, yeah, fine. I don't know if they meant that they wanted them merged in. Oh gosh, anyway, comedy of errors. I was going to show you again, like the things that we were looking at here. Gosh, I've gone the wrong way. One of those, read me. Here we go. Yeah, these three things.
Yeah, okay.
Where I want to be. I want to be over here. Right. Let's do those three things. I mean, the other item was that, I mean, I'm trying to have these weekly updates with Armando, but I was not able to have them for the last 2 weeks. So I have a feeling we may come back and say, why wasn't this merged in? I said, well, the students said it's okay. And I said, yes. Was it my responsibility to merge it in? But we'll see. Then run these are, I guess they're Qt and RSpec related things. They are. So we've done that. And then it says create a new file called rspec.rb in features support with the following contents. Okay, and then you can double check everything was installed by running the tasks rspec and Cucumber, and that's where we want to be. So we're in here in Raw Potatoes, we're in features support here. What is it called? They want rspec. Get rid of that window so that when I tab backwards and forwards between these things, it's not so far to go. Yeah, rspec.rb. Ooh, then that's another window. Okay, I should put that down there. Here we go. So features support, new file, rspec.rb, and open that and get that code in it. Save it. Okay, so in principle, we should be able to.
Have we always had that?
It's been in, I don't know. I mean, we could look at the we could look at the commit log to find out.
Okay, I don't know. I just thought that maybe it had been included in the past, but it's not worth the time right now.
Yeah, we can go. So anyway, so we've got Cucumber and RSpec running there. We could do, and this was another one actually that you'd raised as an issue, is that in principle, like we're saying, if people had no tests, they could actually get it to pass the AutoGrader without doing anything.
Yeah.
So we could actually get that to the test and go on.
No, I mean, I was appalled to find out when I looked at their code. It was like, what?
Yeah.
You don't have anything. They passed.
Yeah, but this is
that's not so good.
No, that's not what we want at all. So let's then download this. We could then, in a what's the word? An epiphany? No, tour de force of multitasking, sort of. We could now go here, and we could. So this is the Berkeley courses page, and we can submit the. So this is like a boilerplate. What have we done? We've created the basic version of the assignment without like all the setup. Which, I mean, in principle, all of it could be just in the boilerplate. There's no particular reason to want to have the students run through this set of steps, if you know what I mean. Is there?
Yes and no. Although, to be honest, if you don't make them do this, when they start their own project, they haven't a clue.
Right, but although at the same time, these things, like, oh well, no, I guess I think we're asking them to install these training wheels things where the file at the top of it says, "Please delete this file." No, it's awful. I mean,
we talk about it in class, so we all get a chuckle out of it.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. So here, I'm encountering the specific issue that so we have replicated the issue that the Berkeley students have encountered.
Apparently.
Yeah. I guess here I was going to like here, then RSpec and Cucumber should run as follows. So we've got actually the beginning of a walkthrough that if you want to continue that, Rose,
yeah, sure.
you're more than welcome.
I'll try and work on that tomorrow.
And I can, that's like we've both got access to the repo. So I guess now, I mean, it's basically time to wrap up. See, what I would love to be able to do is to somehow automate the assignment itself. Do you know what I mean? Like actually doing it. And ideally what we would have is we'd have an automated system that would actually do the assignment, and it would submit each of the different like versions of the like 10% complete, 20% complete, 30% complete, including like several dead ends, and all of them would be submitted to the grader, and we would be checking that the grader was actually giving a sensible statement back to the student afterwards. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? And I guess, I mean, so the student himself, or this is the TA, is saying that he did this on his local machine and fixed it by running a bundle update. I mean, principle, I could run bundle update here on RAG.
Yeah.
I think, but what I want to do is I want to do gem update bundler. I don't want to update all of the gems.
Right.
And actually, sensibly, I should do it against the staging grader first, because the issue is it might fix this one issue, but it might break everything else.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I mean, I think I'm probably going to, because I've got my next meeting coming up, I'll probably leave it there for today. And yeah, I think my path to addressing the acceptance unit test thing is clear. Hopefully, we had a bit of a look and understanding about these, and we also created a stub for the walkthrough for this one, and I'll give you a link to that. Yeah, so I think pretty successful meeting. And
well, one note about your note. You say issue with previous migration. The note should be only an issue if a previous migration.
Right. Issue.
If it's the latest,
isn't it with
it's
like,
not an issue.
No, and it's like I think it was like was it a missing migration?
But it only creates a problem if it's one that's like it's not the latest one. The latest, if it's the latest one, it's easy to fix. If it's prior to the latest one, it's yeah.
Okay, cool beans. All right, good show. Well, great to see you both. And yeah, I mean, potentially, each week when we do this, if we get through the business, we can continue working in these in the C9.
Great.
And get stuff sorted. Cool, great. All right, thanks, guys. Bye for now. See you again soon.
All right, bye, guys.
Thanks a lot. Bye.